The beta has been out for a few days and people have tried most of the specializations they have wanted to. However, I'm still over here trying out the Ritualist. I am Leon and today I will be sharing my thoughts on the Ritualist. Let's start off by going through all of its traits and skills, and then I will be going to the parts I like about it and the parts I don't like about it. To start off, we have the first trait, Wandering Spirits. I feel like this is a must in World vs. World because you're always moving around and people can easily walk away from them, especially since the spirits have a really short range on their auto attacks, so you need to position them a lot closer all the time. The second trait is Spirit's Gift. This trait seems to have been made for supports. I was trying it out as a support and it's pretty decent in Zergs. The healing felt a bit low, but at least it does provide low stability and boon corruption as well. Not to mention all of the weapon spell skills that are given to allies at a reduced amount. The third trait is Explosive Growth. This is going to be the DPS trait, but for World vs. World, I feel like you're always going to be taking Wandering Spirits. For PvE though, I can see this being the one to take if you're not moving around a lot during the fight. This next trait column feels like you could just pick any of them and be just as good. They balance the three with each other fairly good. The first one makes your weapon spell skills cleanse conditions from yourself. And if this wasn't enough, well, it also cleanses them from nearby allies. I was running 4 weapon spell skills, which would mean I would get 8 conditions cleansed in total after using all of my skills. This is incredible for just one trait, but the next trait doesn't let us down either. This one grants you and your allies with boons depending on the spirit that you summon. For all of the spirits though, you can get quickness. I am really glad they kept quickness in World vs. World because it is just so nice to have. Along with this, you also get some might while summoning your main damaging spirit, and fury when summoning your stun spirit, which helps you get to your crit cap. The last trait simply just increases the damage and healing it does. This is good if you don't want that Condi cleanse from the first trait and would rather get more healing when you're supporting. As for the damage, it can be helpful as well, but I think compared against the quickness from Empowering Spirits, it's just not quite as good, unless of course you're trying to build around Sustain. For the third trait column, we have a very support-based trait. This makes your allies gain the full boost from your weapon spells. In my opinion, it just doesn't seem very good. Weapon spells already give your allies some buffs without the trait, and the buffs that it gives aren't the best to build around. The second trait of this column lets your spirits stay around after you exit your shroud. This might be good for PvE instances, but for World vs. World, I kind of feel like I'd rather keep that shroud for health and not let it drain when I'm not in it. Maybe if the summon's auto attacks were better, I would end up being able to pair that with something like Spectral Armor for the extra shroud sustain. But with how slow the summon's attacks are and how easy it is to dodge them, I feel like it's just probably not the best right now. As for the last trait, it's really nice. It can be used in both damage and support builds because you can choose what spirit skill you'd like to refresh completely. This means if you're a support, you can always pick to use Shroud 4 for that healing twice. Or if you're damaged, you can always pick to use Shroud 3 for the stun, or Shroud 2 for the extra damage. The extra refresh is just very useful and it can be used in a lot of situations, so I don't see it becoming unusable in the future. For the skills, we have a great heal. It not only heals you over time for 6,000 to 7,000 health, but it also gives you some damage reduction. This is also nice because it is a weapon spell, which means it also gives this to allies. This means that your allies, if they're close enough, also get 3,000 to 4,000 health and that damage reduction. Of course, this would be more if you decide to take the Wielder's Boon as a trait, but even without it, it's a nice little extra. The first utility doesn't seem to be the best in World vs. World because all it does is give your attacks more strikes. This can only be used 5 times though, and its damage is really low. I can think of a lot more skills that you would rather take. Core Necro has plenty of great skills that you can choose from. The second utility is going to be a decent support skill. It cures conditions on you and your allies every second. It also heals whenever you cure one. For allies, you would be able to cure 3, and this can go to 5 of your allies. Along with this, it does heal them for around 1,200 health, which isn't much, but it just feels like an extra because the Condi cleanse by itself seems worth it. Your third utility skill makes your attacks lifesteal and inflict vulnerability, which it actually inflicts quite a lot. And this does go to your allies, so if you're with two of your friends, you can put somebody on close to max stacks of vulnerability. This will make finishing them off really easy. This last utility was the one I was so excited for. I've been wanting a shield for a long time on Necro because I wanted a block. I know a shield probably would be overpowered because Necros do already have 2 health bars and good heals, but I thought it would be cool. Anyways, this utility gives a block and in a lot more balanced of a way. It lets you block 3 attacks, which means if you get hit with a single hit high damage skill like Dragon Hunter Longbow 2, you can completely block it. But if you get hit with multiple hitting skills like Soul Beast's Longbow Burst, then it wouldn't be as effective. I feel like this balances the block so well while still having it. On top of this, the skill is also a stun break and it gives regeneration and protection. For the elite, I'm going to be completely honest, I'm still not 100% sure on what it does. I do know that it is a stun break and gives you 1 stability, which is nice on its own. For the other part, I think that it heals if you get dealt damage above a certain amount of your maximum health, which seems like it would be quite nice for extra sustain. For the Shroud itself, we have an auto attack that's quite similar to the auto attack of Core Necro, but a lot faster, especially paired with the quickness that you can get because of one of the traits. Your Shroud 2 seems like it's going to be your main damaging skill. It can burst fairly good damage. Your Shroud 3 is also able to do quite decent damage, but paired with a really good stun. This can be quite a bit of pain to aim though, because it is a whole second to cast it, and by that time most people have already moved out of the way. Your Shroud 4 is a healing skill that has a Conde Cleanse as well. This may seem weird in Shroud, but it's actually able to heal you through your Shroud. This makes your sustainability even better. Your Shroud 5 is amazing. It has a huge blink that allows you to hop up some walls or cliffs with ease to catch other players off guard or escape. Your Spirit Destruction skills are also nice because they auto-cast whenever your spirit leaves. This makes it so you don't actually have to pay attention to them during fights, making this still good for people who don't like clicking a ton of buttons. If you do like clicking a ton of buttons, you still can use Profession 4 for stability and Profession 2 for offensive boons like Fury and Might. Profession 3 is only a fear, which is nice as an extra but not super great. Now to get to the parts of what I like about Ritualist and what I don't like about it. There's definitely going to be a lot more goods than bads for me, because I really like Ritualist. To start off with the good things, it is going to be of course that it is tanky. Like Core Necro and Reaper, it gets a Shroud that is used as a second health pool. This makes survivability so much better and lets you make mistakes and not die instantly. This makes learning and getting better at it much easier. This also has some sources of stability. It's a somewhat low amount, but really any amount is nice. You've got 2 on your Profession 4 and 1 on your Elites. You can also pair it with stability you can get from Staff 5 with a trait from Blood Magic for even more. Being able to use your weapon skills on allies without another trait is really nice. It's just an extra bonus to the already decent skill, so even if the bonus is very minor, it's still nice. Of course, you can even get the trait to improve these further, but without it, it's still decent. Ritualist can also provide you and your teammates with quickness in World vs. World. I'm quite glad that they didn't remove the quickness from World vs. World because it just makes the classes feel smoother and a lot funner. This also has really good movement capabilities while in Shroud compared to the others. Core Necro really has nothing, Reaper has a nice leap for Shroud 2, and Harbinger has good leaps for Shroud 3 and 4. But these don't let you teleport up hills like a Blink does. Scourge has a portal that works similarly, but that requires you to use one of your utility slots. Ritualist has it just built into its Shroud 5. You don't have to do anything extra and it's a fairly far blink, which can let you go up walls. Pair this with Spectral Walk, Fleshworm, Sword 3, and even Spear 4, and you've got a huge amount of mobility for a bunch of different situations. Another thing that's really unique and I like about this Necro variant is that it can heal through your Shroud on some skills like Shroud 4. This lets you sustain yourself even further. Another great thing is that it's just incredibly useful to be able to use this as a damage or a support depending on your situation. I really like that some elite specializations are able to do this. Now for the bad things. I can't really think of too many, but the ones that I can think of stand out a lot to me. Starting with the summons. They have quite short range. This is kind of annoying because people can just walk away from their auto attacks, but at least with the Wandering Spirits trait, you're able to position them closer before they attack. Also, the summons auto attack is just extremely slow. I mean, it's fine because that's really not where most of your damage is going to be anyways, but it's just like they have to think really hard if they want to attack or not. Hey Greg, you think we should start attacking these guys?
I don't know, Tim. Should we? I guess we probably should.
Okay then, I guess I'll start attacking these guys. That's how it feels like every time they go to attack. It takes them so long. Another bad thing about these summons is that most of their skills are projectiles, which means in Zergs they're almost completely useless. You can still use Shroud 3 and 4, so you're not missing out on too much other than the damage, which brings me to the fact that you can't really become a damage spec for Zerg content. The only possible way to use this would be as a support, but even then the healing kind of feels low, but it does provide other things like boon corruption, low stability, and some boons and stuns. Of course, all of this is based on the World vs. World version, and not the PvE version. I haven't really stepped foot into PvE with any of these beta classes, and I'm not sure how it works there. Anyways, those were my first thoughts on this elite specialization, and I really quite like it a lot. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the specialization in the comments below, and as always, I hope to see you in one of these, and have a great day.